Hello, folks. Hope my video finds you well. If you ask me what is one thing you need to learn about AI in 2026, I would certainly recommend you learn how to use skill. So skill is a new concept emerged in 2025 and became really popular this year because it is super helpful and super useful to automate your day-to-day work. Um, for example, I open sourced and created this bank recon skills out there. So if you are using a Codex or ClaudeCode or OpenClaw, you can simply ask your AI agent to install this skill. Once this skill is installed to your ClaudeCode, Codex, or OpenClaw, essentially they can perform very complex bank recons based on this skill. So this skill will enable Codex and ClaudeCode and OpenClaw to essentially directly perform bank reconciliations between a PDF bank statements and your accounting GL report. And this skill can also help AI agent to solve very complex problems. If you haven't watched my demo at CPAAutomation, make sure you check out this YouTube video. So in this video, essentially, I ran this bank recon skill on my AccountingClaw, which is an advanced version of OpenClaw designed for accounting and finance. What it does, it's basically can perform the bank reconciliation between a bank statement PDF and the accounting GL report directly. And it can solve very complex problems such as here is this 2 to 4 match, right? And the dates are different, description are different. And also if you look at the amount actually are different, like by probably a few cents between those two files. So it can really solve reconciliations for 1-to-1 and 1-to-many and many-to-many matches. And also it can perform the match based on the GL memos as well as the bank description. So it can really solve very complex problems using a skill and after installing a skill to your AI agent. With this being said, you probably have no idea what is the skill, right? Like how do you use it? So this is why we're gonna have this course. And in this course, in the first course, I'm gonna show and dive deep and tell you all the technicals about what the skill is, so you can understand it fully. And then in the next few courses, I'm gonna show you how you can install skills of other people created. And then eventually, I want you to be able to create your own skills so that you can equip your own AI agent with additional skills you created by yourself. So with this being said, let's get started. Stay focused. To understand what skill is, I want to introduce and summarize the core definition and the nature of the mechanisms between skill and MCP. So everybody at this point already understand how prompt works, right? When you chat with Claude or when you chat with ChatGPT, essentially you're giving a prompt, giving a text-based instructions and ask the questions, get the response, right? So that's the easiest way of using AI. And then earlier in our previous courses, we talked about MCP. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol here. And what it does is it basically can connect your AI to external systems, such as your ERPs, and other, financial systems, as well as your Gmail or Microsoft emails, all that. So you can view MCP more of like a way to do interface. So your AI have access to other systems' data. Skill is different. You can almost think of skill as you're creating an application. You're creating an application that AI agent can execute. So this means like the skill, once you create it, you can ask AI agent to repeat the skills. And so that's why it's really perfect for finance and accounting folks, because oftentimes we we do certain things on a monthly basis or weekly basis or even daily basis, right? And this is where you can leverage AI to create the skill and then ask AI to execute your skill. Just as if AI is running, your AI agent is running this application you created. So the skill has so this is basically the different definitions between skill, MCP, and also of course the prompt. With this being said, let's take a look at the technical feature comparisons among all three. Right. First of all, if you look at the prompt, which is the easiest one, every time you send a chat to ChatGPT or Claude, essentially you're sending a static context, right? Whatever your command is, it doesn't change after you send it. And every single time, when in the Claude and OpenAI's backend, when they receive your request, they process it, they perform a full load and then try to solve your request, by processing the full load for each conversation. So prompt is definitely cost most tokens out there. If you want to achieve, the certain tasks, you might have to prompt 100 different questions just to get one thing done. So when AI first came out, I remember I have to prompt many times to give me code examples so I can patch all of those together. So MCP is different. MCP has a dynamic context. You can ask the question and AI will decide which tool it should use to connect with external systems, right? So in that sense, it is dynamic. And also MCP is programmed based on preloaded capabilities. So remember in our last course, after we install the MCPs, we discover a certain number of tools, right? So those tools are preload. And MCP, because AI has to decide on which tool to use, that process alone is already costing a lot of token. So to get certain things done, MCP actually will cost probably the most tokens out there. In comparison with those two, skill is quite different. Skill is also a dynamic context, meaning you can, after you ask AI to perform certain tasks with your skill, AI will look into its skill set to identify what skills it has, and then basically find the right skills to execute. So the skill normally can consist of three different sets of resources. One is the YAML file. You probably will be confused what the heck the YAML file is, right? So this file is just a file type. It's a file format called YAML. What it does is it stores the metadata and tell AI how to execute certain scripts as part of the resources and how to run certain processes included in the skill folder. So, and also there is a very important file called skill.md. So skill.md is essentially your instructions to large language models on how to plan and execute the skill set. So, and the particular skills you created. So the skill.md is an essential file. It must have for every single skill out there. A YAML file sometimes is optional, because sometimes when you create the simple skills, the system probably don't really need a very complex YAML files. It is only helpful when you basically the skill is perform very complex task. For example, right now I'm creating a skill basically allow AI agent to write an academic research papers based on a topic I come up with. So that whole process is very complex. So in addition to the skill.md, I also included a number of resource scripts, like a bunch of Python scripts. It needs to execute those scripts to support AI agents to finish its job. So by then, I need to tell AI agent, how to execute certain scripts in what way, right? So that's why I also create a metadata YAML file. So compared to that, a simple skill file may just contain skill.md. So skill.md is essentially the instruction to AI on how to perform and how to execute a certain skill. And with this being said, because there are specific instructions included in the skill.md to get certain things done, the token cost by executing skill is very efficient and very quick. And the token cost is actually very low compared to the other two solutions out there. So, and after you get used to skills, you will be really amazed how efficient it is. And another technical feature comparison we're gonna discuss briefly here is the technical barrier. MCP is very high because in order for you to create MCP, you really need to know at least some basic level of coding knowledge. And especially because MCP is a server, so you actually need to configure a local server on your own, or you have to host this server like on cloud. And compared to that, for skill, really a skill just consists of a markdown file, skill.md, and plus, sometimes the YAML file for the metadata. And that's really it. And you can really think of a skill just like a folder. And you can move the skill, move the folder. If you give the folder to Codex, and Codex will have this skill, and give this folder to ClaudeCode, and ClaudeCode all of a sudden will have this skill. So it's very easy and very strong cross-platform thing you can move around between ChatGPT and Claude. And also, skill support local execution, right? You're essentially asking AI agent to execute a certain skill locally. You don't necessarily always need the network access. But MCP is because if you are connecting with external systems, almost always you need like remote access support. With this being said, I hope at this point you basically get a very good understanding of what skill is. Let's talk about what each function is trying to solve. So skill is essentially a menu you provide to AI agent to tell AI agent how should Claude, how should Codex, how should OpenClaw do it, with a particular task. So it's a manual to AI agent. And because you provide this manual, it just need to follow your manual to execute this task. So it's in a very regulated way. So itself is almost like we said earlier, it's almost like an application. So this is what the skill is for, right? MCP is almost like, how could AI access an external system? This is what MCP is used for. And prompt this is where, we don't need to cover that because I'm sure you chat with AI all the time. And with that being said, they're definitely not mutually exclusive. So skill is perfect for repetitive tasks. And so you can provide work manuals to AI for AI to work. Prompt is good for one-time instructions. And MCP is good for external tools. So, but in reality, you can combine all three together. So, I have seen very complex skills, and what it does is for example, it's using one MCP to pull data from one system, and it's also use another MCP to pull data from another system. And then what it does is it uses a skill to wrap the two and use that skill to wrap and reconcile the data between those two systems. And all you need to start the skill to execute the task is just using one sentence prompt execute this system reconciliation skill for me between this system and that system as of what date, right? So essentially you can wrap skills between two different MCPs or multiple MCPs together to execute very complex task. So this is a classic example how you can leverage all three together. With that being said, if you in particularly remember for skill, different applications is mostly focused on repetitive workflows. And you can, because skill is just a folder, right? You can easily share the skill, between you and your team members. And also you can use skill to really save, some tokens. If if the standard alone prompt or MCP workflows cost too much token, you can use skills to basically reduce the cost. And MCP, again, MCP is used for more real-time, to extract real-time external data and also to read and write external services, and basically pulling and build a remote API connection. So those are the things you can do. And I have drawn this decision tree for you so you can follow this. And I will summarize all those pictures in one picture for you, so you can download this one, and then save it to your desktop. And if you ever need to make a reference. So I hope you really enjoyed today's class. And in the next few classes, we're gonna really perform like skill installation as well as how to create the skill ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed this course. Thank you very much.